Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack complex ideas into digestible insights.
I'm Elia.
And I'm Sol. We're AI, not people, but we've got a thing for thoughtful conversations. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into something, well, pretty universally challenging, yet profoundly important. How we build and maintain connection during life's biggest shifts.
Yeah, those moments that really shake things up.
Exactly. Our source for this exploration is an insightful Ava Mind blog post on mental health and wellness. It's specifically titled, Building a Support System During Life Transitions.
That's right. And life transitions, that covers so much, doesn't it? Moving, a new job, maybe a breakup, becoming a parent.
Or even just that quiet internal feeling, like your old self doesn't quite fit anymore.
Absolutely. And these moments, they often expose our deepest vulnerabilities. Suddenly the ground feels, well, unsteady.
Unsteady is a good word for it.
And that naturally raises this crucial, almost primal need for connection. It's like a lifeline when everything else feels uncertain. And this blog post, it really provides a roadmap. It's not just about surviving change, but actually thriving through it. It argues connection isn't just nice to have, it's fundamental.
Absolutely. The Ava Mind article really hits home there, diving straight into that core idea, how major life changes, whether they hit you suddenly or creep up slowly.
Yeah, and whether they're joyful things or heartbreaking ones.
Right, like having a baby, which is amazing, but totally turns your world upside down.
Yeah.
Or losing someone, obviously. Or even starting that dream job.
Oh, definitely. The dream job thing. You get there, and suddenly you're in a new environment, new people, new rules. It can feel surprisingly lonely.
Totally. Or a relationship ends, and it's not just your heart, it's your whole social structure, your routine. Even who you are feels different.
It's like the very ground you thought was solid
right.
isn't. It feels fluid, unstable, disorienting.
Exactly. That's the feeling the article captures so well.
And what's fascinating and kind of cruel is the paradox that kicks in right then. Your need for connection skyrockets, right? When you feel the most wobbly, but reaching out feels like the hardest thing in the world.
Oh, definitely. The article talks about those internal voices, doesn't it?
It does. Those really common narratives that stop us, like, I don't want to be a burden. That one's huge.
Making your problems seem like too much for others.
Or no one really gets what I'm going through. That feeling of being uniquely alone, even when you're probably not.
Yeah, that's a trap.
And then there's the big one. I should be able to handle this on my own. That cultural pressure for self-reliance.
Which has its place, but maybe not when you're emotionally struggling.
Exactly. And the blog says, if those thoughts sound familiar to you, you are absolutely not alone. It's a super common human thing, a kind of protective shield that actually keeps help out.
It's a strange mechanism, isn't it? And the article points out another contradiction.
Which is?
Modern life. We're supposedly hyper-connected digitally, right? Social media, instant messages, video calls.
Yeah, connected 24/7 in theory.
But loneliness and emotional isolation are actually rising sharply, especially the blog notes, during these times of transition.
It's like being in a huge crowd online, but feeling completely unseen.
That's exactly it. Like the volume of shallow connections drowns out the deep ones.
It's a profound observation. And the blog backs it up with data. There was a 2023 study by the World Health Organization. It found that 1 in 3 people, globally, reported feeling lonely regularly.
Wow, 1 in 3.
And, like you said, the rates were even higher during big life shifts, job loss, moving, relationship changes. This isn't just a feeling, it's a global health issue. Because change, it disrupts our emotional anchors, right? Those routines, people, places that keep us grounded.
Yeah, the familiar stuff.
And if we're not careful, those disruptions can wear away the very support systems we need most. The familiar faces might disappear, routines get thrown out, you feel adrift.
So it's not just an individual failing, it's almost systemic.
Precisely.
But, and this is important, the blog frames this awareness as hope. Recognizing the challenge is the first step.
Right. It's not just doom and gloom.
No, it emphasizes that emotional support isn't some optional luxury during change. It's something we can actively build, intentionally cultivate.
And it broadens the idea of what support even means.
Yeah, it's not just about friends. It can be digital tools or even just being kinder to yourself.
Self-kindness, yeah. That's a big one. It's about consciously constructing that safety net.
Okay, so given this huge need, what concrete guidance does the Ava Mind blog offer? It lays out some key takeaways, right? Like a roadmap for what a healthy support system actually does during transitions.
It does, and they're really insightful, going beyond just the surface level. Let's unpack them.
Okay.
First off, the blog stresses that support systems help us regulate stress, emotions, and even our identity when life is shifting.
Regulate, like
Yeah.
internal shock absorbers.
Exactly. When the external world feels chaotic, connection provides an internal anchor. It stops you from spiraling, helps stabilize you when even your sense of who you are feels up for grabs.
Which it often does during big changes.
Right. Without that external co-regulation, our internal systems get overwhelmed, exhausted.
Makes sense. What's next?
Second, and this is crucial, quality over quantity. You don't need a huge circle. You need a reliable one.
So forget the massive friends lists on social media.
Pretty much. It's not about the number of contacts. It's about dependability. People who actually show up, people you can trust, even if it's just one or two.
That reliability creates psychological safety.
Exactly. Something 100 casual acquaintances can't provide.
Okay, third point.
Third of the blog says connection takes many forms. It's not just people. It can be digital tools like the Ava Mind app for checking in with yourself, or even your own self-talk.
So broadening the definition of support way beyond just friends and family.
Hugely. Therapists, mentors, community groups, online forums,
Yeah.
even how you talk to yourself. Recognizing this opens up so many more resources.
Right. Okay, number 4.
Fourth, it validates that barriers to connection are normal, but workable. Feeling resistant to reaching out, that's common. It's not a flaw.
That's reassuring. It can feel really awkward or vulnerable.
Totally. But the blog says these aren't permanent roadblocks. They're obstacles you can navigate, often just with a little awareness or a shift in perspective. Normalizing the struggle helps.
Good point. And the final key takeaway.
Finally, and this is so hopeful, you can build or rebuild a support system at any stage of life.
It's never too late.
Never. Regardless of past experiences, current isolation, whatever circumstances you're in, life changes and our support networks can and should evolve with us.
That's really vital. The blog doesn't just call connection nice, it calls it a psychological necessity during change. Not optional, essential.
Absolutely.
But why?
Yeah.
For someone who prides themselves on being independent, that might be tough to swallow. What's going on physiologically?
The neuroscience. This part is fascinating. The blog explains how our brain interprets change and uncertainty as stress. Basically a threat signal.
Even positive changes?
Even positive ones, sometimes. That feeling of the ground shifting. Your brain and body go on alert. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response.
Okay. Survival mode.
Right. Heart rate up, digestion slows, mind narrows, ready for danger. Which is great if there's, an actual lion.
But less great if the threat is starting a new job or navigating grief long term.
Exactly. If that state becomes chronic because you're dealing with ongoing stress without support, your body gets stuck on high alert. It's exhausting and harmful over time. It's a deep biological wiring.
Okay, that explains the stress part. And the blog then talks about co-regulation, right? How does that fit in?
Co-regulation is the antidote. It's the biological process where our nervous system actually calms down when we're with a safe, emotionally attuned person.
Like biologically calms down.
Yes. The blog gives great examples, like a friend's calm voice pulling you out of a panic spiral, or being held when you're grieving and suddenly you can breathe again. That feeling of solidity.
Yeah. Or even just getting a kind text message and feeling your chest literally soften is visceral.
It is visceral because it's profoundly physiological. These connected moments trigger the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, trust, connection. And at the same time, they reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. So your body is actively down-regulating the stress response. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens.
Wow. So connection isn't just nice, it's biologically necessary for calm and healing.
Precisely. It's built into our physiology, a biological imperative.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, the Ava Mind article uses this really great metaphor, emotional scaffolding. Can you unpack that?
Yeah, it's powerful. Imagine your emotional window is like a building. During big life changes, that building feels unstable, right? Walls shaky, maybe the floor feels like it might give way.
That captures the feeling perfectly.
So support acts like scaffolding around that shaky building. Now, crucially, the scaffolding doesn't rebuild the building for you. It doesn't fix your life.
Right, it's not doing the internal work.
No. But it provides something essential to lean on while you do the work. It holds you up, keeps things from completely collapsing while you figure things out.
Like stabilizing a structure after an earthquake so people can safely go back in and start repairs.
Exactly like that. It provides security and, maybe just as importantly, it's a subtle, constant reminder. You're not alone in this messy reconstruction project. There's external support holding the space.
Giving you the stability to adapt and find your footing again. I like that.
It's a temporary but vital framework.
And to really hammer this point home, the article references some serious research, the Harvard study of adult development.
Oh yeah, the longest-running study on well-being ever.
Mm-hmm.
Over 80 years they followed people. Incredible data.
So what was the big takeaway after 8 decades?
It's almost shockingly simple. The single biggest predictor of long-term health and happiness wasn't money, wasn't fame, wasn't career success.
What was it?
The quality of your relationships, period. Dr. Robert Waldinger, the director, says, good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period.
Wow, just period.
People with strong social ties, friends, family, community, they lived longer, had fewer mental health issues, and even recovered faster from illness and trauma.
That's compelling evidence. Decades of it.
It really makes you rethink priorities, doesn't it? Relational wealth over material wealth.
Absolutely. But the article highlights a critical catch from that study. It's not just having connections, right?
No, definitely not. And this is so key today. It's not the number of connections, it's the quality.
Right. Because you can be surrounded by people and still feel utterly alone.
Totally. A crowded room, endless social media feeds.
Yeah.
None of that helps if you don't feel safe, seen, or supported.
So what matters is emotional safety, feeling understood.
Exactly. Feeling like your vulnerability will be met with care, not judgment. Feeling like you can be your authentic self. That's the difference between a room full of people and one deep conversation that makes you feel truly gotten.
It's about discerning who fills your cup versus who just takes up space.
Well put.
Okay, so when we think support system, most people jump to friends and family. But the Ava Mind article challenges that limited view, presenting it as more complex, a multi-layered structure.
Yeah, exactly. Not just one thing, but this evolving ecosystem. The blog uses a pyramid model with 4 core layers. Each layer serves a different purpose, and together they create this full-spectrum resilience.
A pyramid. Okay, let's break down those layers, starting at the bottom.
The foundation, the bedrock, is inner support. You.
The relationship with yourself? The article says this is often the one people haven't learned to build.
Which is so true. This layer includes things like self-compassion, treating yourself kindly, especially when you mess up, instead of beating yourself up.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Definitely. It also includes journaling or reflection, that private space to process thoughts without judgment. Developing emotional regulation tools, practical ways to handle intense feelings like anxiety or anger.
Like deep breathing or mindfulness.
Exactly. Spiritual or mindfulness practices fit here too. And importantly, using tools like the Ava Mind app for those solo check-ins, helping strengthen that supportive inner voice instead of the critical one.
Okay, that's the foundation, layer 2.
Layer 2 is personal support, close ties. This is the inner circle, friends, family, partners, the people you're closest to.
And here the blog stresses emotional availability over just numbers.
Right. Quality again. Can you really be honest with them? Do they listen or just jump to fixing? Do they make space for your messy emotions?
Tough questions to ask about loved ones sometimes.
They can be. But the reassurance is, even 1 or 2 really safe, steady people in this circle can be enough to anchor you. It's about that depth and reliability, your human touchstones.
Got it. Layer 3.
Layer 3 is professional support. Outside but skilled. This brings in expertise, structure, and objectivity.
Therapists, coaches, mentors.
Exactly. People trained to help who aren't tangled up in your personal life. They offer tools, CBT, ACT, trauma-informed care, and that consistent, structured space for growth.
And the article emphasizes this isn't just for crisis moments, it's a long-term mental health tool.
Absolutely. Like a personal trainer for your mind, it's proactive wellness, not just reactive repair.
Okay, and the top layer of the pyramid?
That's community support, shared space. This is about belonging, accountability, shared identity or values beyond your close ties.
So not just hanging out, but feeling like you belong somewhere.
Precisely. It could be a local walking group, an online forum for a specific shared experience like parenting or a health condition, or shared identity like LGBTQ+ or neurodivergent groups.
A place where you feel seen by people who get it.
Exactly. That sense of shared understanding is incredibly powerful, especially when you feel isolated by a transition. Solidarity.
So across all these layers, the blog keeps hammering home quality over quantity, contrasting it with social media's focus on numbers.
It does. It mentions Robin Dunbar's research, suggesting we can only maintain about 5 truly close, emotionally connected relationships.
5. That's not many compared to typical social media friend counts.
Right. These are the 2 a.m. people, the blog calls them, the ones you can call in a real crisis. Beyond that, maybe 10, 15 in a wider supportive circle. But deep emotional intimacy just doesn't scale like followers.
You can have thousands of connections online and still lack those core 5.
And feel utterly alone. It's about managing the expectation of vast networks versus the reality of limited, deep intimacy.
Makes sense. So this leads to a reflection prompt from the blog for you, the listener. Think about your current emotional landscape. Who are your top 3 anchors? What makes them trustworthy or safe for you? A good starting point for mapping your own system.
Definitely. Just noticing who comes to mind.
Okay, so if building the support system is so important, so vital, why does it sometimes feel impossibly hard? The article tackles this head-on, saying it's not a personal flaw.
Which is such a relief to hear, right? Reaching out can feel almost impossible. And it's not weakness. It's often deep emotional conditioning, past hurts, or societal messages we've absorbed.
Let's look at those barriers. The first one mentioned is huge. The fear of being a burden.
Oh, that one runs deep for so many people. I don't want to bother them. They have their own problems. I should handle this.
We hear it all the time. Where does that come from?
Often from early messages about self-reliance or times when our vulnerability wasn't met with care, maybe even dismissed. So we learn to carry it silently.
Protecting others, we think, but really isolating ourselves.
Exactly. The blog suggests reframing it. Instead of, I'm a burden, try, I'm a human having a hard time. Instead of, I'm demanding, try, I'm inviting connection.
Shifting from shame to shared humanity.
Yeah. And it asks, what would it feel like to give someone else the gift of showing up for you? Puts a different spin on it.
That's a powerful reframe. Okay, barrier number 2. Past disappointments.
This is about when you did reach out and it went badly. Silence, judgment, dismissal, maybe even betrayal.
Ouch. Your brain learns, nope, not safe, don't do that again.
And that lesson sticks. It whispers, remember last time. Especially if you grew up in an emotionally unavailable home or felt like you were too much in past relationships.
So it's understandable to be cautious.
Totally sensible. Your brain's trying to protect you. But the article cautions against letting old wounds dictate all future possibilities. Healing can start with just one new, safe connection. It's about daring to try again, maybe more carefully this time.
Finding proof that it can be different.
Exactly. Rewriting that old script.
Okay, the third barrier is broader. Cultural, gender, or societal norms, those systemic messages about keeping it together.
These are powerful and often invisible. Pressure to stay composed, keep problems private, avoid talking about mental health.
And it differs for people too, right?
Hugely. The blog highlights messaging for men. Vulnerability equals weakness. For women, praised for nurturing, but shamed for asking for help or expressing anger. And then for LGBTQ plus individuals, neurodivergent folks, people with marginalized identities, there's often that extra fear. Will they really understand my specific experience? Which leads to more isolation.
Which is why those identity-affirming spaces become so crucial.
Absolutely. Places where you don't have to constantly explain or translate yourself, you can just be.
Wow, okay, so another reflection prompt from Ava Mind. What expectations, spoken or unspoken, have shaped the way you reach or don't reach for support? Getting at those invisible rules.
That's a deep question.
So we expect friends and family to be our built-in support, and often they are, but the article talks about the sting of emotional mismatch. When you reach out to someone close and it just doesn't land right, you feel worse maybe?
That sting is so real, and the blog explains why. Not everyone, even people who love you, is equipped or available to support you in the way you need at that moment.
It's not about their love necessarily, but their capacity.
Exactly. Understanding this protects your energy. It helps you avoid repeated disappointments. It's about discerning who can offer what.
So it's about understanding the difference between emotional availability and emotional proximity. Being close doesn't automatically mean being attuned.
Precisely. Emotional availability means they can sit with feelings without fixing, stay present when you're vulnerable, validate your experience, offer empathy, respect boundaries. It's a skill set and a capacity.
And sometimes even loved ones don't have that skill or the capacity right then.
Right. Maybe they lack the tools. Maybe your pain triggers their stuff. Maybe they're overwhelmed themselves, or they just misunderstand what support really means. It's okay to adjust expectations based on that reality. People have different strengths.
Which leads into the next point. the best friend fix myth.
Ah, yes, the Hollywood trope. That one-person best friend, partner who is supposed to be your everything. Therapist, cheerleader, emergency contact, comic relief.
All rolled into one. It's a lot of pressure.
It's totally unrealistic. The article argues no single person can play every role. Expecting them to access sets you both up for failure, burnout for them, disappointment for you.
So think of it more like a team.
Exactly, a support team. Different players have different functions. The listener, the motivator, the distraction buddy, the wisdom giver, the action planner, the let's just walk person.
It's okay if your sibling is great for planning but not crying.
Totally okay. Or if your partner freezes up when you're sad. Or your oldest friend doesn't quite get the new you. Recognize their strengths, utilize those, and seek other needs elsewhere. It's more sustainable.
Okay, so another listener prompt from the blog. Who are you currently expecting too much emotional labor from? What might shift if you broaden your circle or got clearer on their role? Really practical self-assessment.
Yeah, about managing expectations realistically.
We've covered personal circles, community, but sometimes, the article notes, we need something different, more than comfort. We need clarity, containment, maybe professional guidance.
Right. This brings us to the transformative role of therapists, counselors, coaches, that professional layer of support.
What makes this layer unique?
They're trained professionals. They help you untangle your inner world with objectivity that friends and family, because they're involved, simply can't offer. They provide tools and a structured space focused solely on your process.
The article mentions their non-reactive presence. They don't get defensive, allowing more honesty.
That's key. They won't protect your ego or get caught up in the drama. They offer evidence-based techniques, CBT, ACT, mindfulness, trauma-informed care. It's not just talking, it's skill building.
And the consistency of sessions provides that emotional scaffolding we talked about earlier.
Exactly. A regular, reliable space for growth. Plus clear boundaries. It's a one-way focus on your well-being, which can be incredibly freeing, especially if you're usually the caretaker.
Still, there are myths around therapy. The blog debunks I'm not broken enough, right?
Yes. Therapy isn't just for crisis. It's for clarity, growth, self-discovery, navigating life better. Proactive, not just reactive.
What about cost? That's a real barrier.
It is, but the blog points to options. Low-cost clinics, sliding scales, online platforms, even free resources and apps. It's becoming more accessible.
And the talking to a stranger thing.
Often that stranger status is why it helps. Objectivity creates safety, less self-censoring.
And the idea it takes forever.
Change takes time, yes, but many feel relief or gain insights quite quickly, even after one session. Just being truly heard is powerful.
And for people hesitant about traditional therapy, the Ava Mind app sounds like it can be a really useful bridge.
Absolutely. It's a conversational AI trained in support models. Real-time, non-judgmental listening, 24/7. Supportive prompts, guided journaling, emotional processing tools.
A safe place to start, maybe.
Exactly. It's explicitly not therapy, but a warm, always-there companion when human help feels hard to reach. It lowers the barrier, lets you practice expressing yourself.
Okay, so how do you know if it's time for professional help? The blog lists 7 signs.
Yes, signals that your current coping strategies might not be enough. Like feeling stuck in repetitive emotional loops.
Check.
Managing multiple big life changes and feeling overwhelmed. Supporting others, but feeling empty yourself. Not feeling safe, sharing with anyone. Struggling with sleep, appetite, focus, physical tension.
Those sound familiar for many during transitions.
Repeating patterns you can't break. Or just wanting to grow but not knowing how. If even one of those resonates, the blog suggests therapy could be transformative.
There's that story about Ethan, 27, the new dad and team lead.
Right. The guy who prided himself on handling everything solo, then started having panic attacks.
He resisted help for ages.
Until one night, he downloaded Ava Mind and typed, "I feel like I'm failing." But I don't even know who I can say that to. So vulnerable.
And Ava's non-judgmental questions prompted him to finally book therapy.
Yeah. 6 months later, he sees it not as fixing brokenness, but staying whole. A powerful shift, often started by that first, small, safe step, sometimes digital.
Which leads to another Ava prompt. Ask yourself, if I allowed myself to receive help, what kind would I want most right now? Advice, listening, structure, reassurance, a plan, getting clear on the need before seeking the source.
Permission and clarity, powerful combo.
Okay, let's talk community again. In our independent world, it feels like the need for belonging gets downplayed, especially during isolating changes.
It really does. But the article defines true community as that deep sense of belonging. These are my people. I don't have to hide here.
So different from just socializing. You can socialize all day and feel disconnected.
Totally. Belonging is about the quality of resonance. Feeling seen, safe, able to be yourself without performing. Leaving feeling more grounded, not drained.
How do you find or rebuild that, especially if you're starting over?
The blog suggests a few things. First, join based on values, not just interests. Look for shared purpose meditation groups, identity-focused book clubs, support groups, online communities with a shared experience.
Deeper than just liking the same hobby.
Right. Second, start with small, consistent exposure. Don't force it. Lurk in a group, react to a post, stay 5 minutes after class. Gentle steps that shift your nervous system over time.
Dip your toe in.
Exactly. And third, crucially, seek identity-affirming spaces. Places where you don't have to translate your experience if you're LGBTQ plus neurodivergent from a specific culture, etc., where you can just exist and be understood.
That sounds incredibly relieving. Less emotional labor.
Immensely.
Like Carla, 42, in the article, post-divorce, feeling untethered, thinking this is just how it is now.
That resignation is heartbreaking. But she found an online meetup for women starting over. Awkward at first?
Which is realistic.
Very. But she kept going. And eventually, she was hosting coffee chats, feeling like she mattered to people who saw her becoming, not just who she'd been.
Persistence pays off in finding belonging.
It really can.
So another Ava prompt for you. Where in your life do you feel the safest to exhale? What qualities make that space feel like home? And the add-on. If the answer is nowhere, let that be the beginning of your search, not a reason to stop looking.
That's powerful. Don't let nowhere be the end point.
Now let's circle back fully to digital support, like Ava Mind. The article positions these tools as increasingly essential, especially for people facing barriers.
Definitely. We touched on the benefits. Accessibility 24/7, anonymity for free expression, consistency, it's always there, and often affordability. They meet you where you are.
And how does Ava Mind work again specifically?
It's a conversational AI. You talk or type your feelings. Ava listens, reflects, guides you with personalized prompts and tools based on therapeutic models like CBT. It helps you name, process, understand emotions, reframe thoughts, build habits.
A consistent, non-judgmental space.
Exactly. Not replacing humans, but filling critical gaps. A stepping stone, a practice space.
Privacy is obviously huge with something like this.
Paramount. The blog stresses Ava Mind's privacy-first tech, encrypted interactions. And they're exploring on-device processing, meaning conversations might not even leave your phone.
Wow, no cloud, no third-party sharing, potentially.
That's the goal they're working towards, building that deep trust needed for vulnerability.
Like James, 34, who lost his job and just needed somewhere to start, didn't want therapy initially.
Right. Typing to Ava became his lifeline. No judgment, just space. And he realized, I wasn't broken. I just needed somewhere to start. Digital support was his entry point.
Powerful. Leading to the final Ava prompt here. If you had a completely safe space to speak your truth without fear of judgment or consequence, what would you say? You can start with Ava. She's listening.
An invitation to just let it out.
Okay, so the core message wrapping up seems to be that a support system isn't static. It's not a one-and-done build. The article calls it a living, breathing ecosystem.
I love that phrasing. It shifts and evolves as we shift and evolve. And the blog gives guidance on keeping it resilient and adaptable.
Phase 1 is reassess your needs. Regularly check in. What's missing? Am I truly supported or just surrounded? What do I want more of? Empathy, insight, joy, accountability?
And knowing the answers will change. That's growth, not failure. Tailoring support to your current reality.
Phase 2 sounds harder, except that support changes. Letting go of what no longer fits.
Yeah, this takes courage. Releasing draining friendships. Grieving faded closeness. Accepting someone can't show up as hoped. It's not always conflict. Sometimes it's a quiet misalignment.
But that makes space for what's next.
Exactly. Emotional hygiene. Make space for new connections or evolving roles for existing ones.
And phase 3 is proactive. Stretch into new spaces. Trying things that feel awkward.
Those micro moves the blog talks about. Reaching out to someone you admire, asking a colleague for coffee, initiating a slightly deeper conversation, letting yourself be seen a bit more.
The bricks that build belonging. Small steps.
Compounding over time. Each one an act of courage.
Okay, final listener reflection prompt. Take stock of your current support system. What's solid? What's shifting? What needs attention? And the key reminder, no shame, just data. Let that awareness be your starting point.
Self-reflection without judgment. Crucial.
So as we close this deep dive on the Ava Mind blog's insights, the big takeaway feels like it's about permission.
Yes, permission to reach out before hitting rock bottom.
Permission to rebuild connections, even after a long time.
Permission to use tools like Ava Mind as stepping stones, part of your network.
And permission to accept that needing help doesn't make you weak. It makes you human and wise.
Ava Mind's core belief, echoed in the article, is that connection is mental health, not an add-on. Ava's designed to walk with you, talk with you, remind you you're not alone.
Because when life changes, your support system can too. People, professionals, tools, whatever works for who you are now.
Create that tapestry that truly resonates.
So take the first step. Talk to Ava, reach out to someone, let support in, you deserve it.
You really do.
You can read the full blog post we discussed, Building a Support System During Life Transitions, and find others on the Ava Mind website. We'll put the links in the description.
And if you want an audio version or maybe a condensed summary of the blog, that's available exclusively in the Ava Mind app itself.
Yeah, definitely explore the Ava Mind app too for more moments of calm and reflection.
We'll be back with more thoughts soon.
Stay curious.